Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Sarita. And here's her story. Hello, Ollie. My name is Sarita. I am the eldest of my parents' children. My mother and father split up when I was about 5 or 6. From that time on, I could remember my father was nothing but a crackhead who had a baby on her. My mother would fill my head with how my dad didn't love me or want me, and that I should hate him. I was impressionable and I believed her. From then, I began to tell my father how much I hated him, and that he was not my father. I then stopped calling him Dad to call him Robert, his first name. All of this by the age of 5. One of the first beatings I recall took place at my father's parents' house while everyone was upstairs. Okay, your father, so your father's parents, so your grandparents, your father's, gotcha. My Nana, Dad's mom, would always say, "Rita, you have the memory of an elephant. Just to put things into perspective, I don't forget shit." I was always told that. Look out, radar ears. That's what I was called, radar ears. I had to have radar ears because the radar ears and your ability to remember stuff is your defense mechanism from them. It was over homework. My mother hit me in the nose, and my nose bled, one of the few bloody noses she'd give me. My mother scrambled to clean up the evidence of what she did because my dad's family would have wiped the floor with her. Many beatings were in store for me from then on. They were sadistic and brutal. And this all happened after your mother told you that your father hated you, not to call him Dad. You're telling him you're not your father. And she told you he was nothing but a crackhead who put a baby on her. I can recall feeling so alone, but close to God. I was made to strip nude, and that was the hardest part. I would unzip and zip my pants just to bide my time. I was beaten while I was sick even. Her favorite move was yanking me by my ponytail. It was so bad that she had girlfriends join in on the abuse. Joy and Celeste, 2 prostitute sisters who lived in their aunt's brothel. One I was frequently at. My mother revealed years later that the white guy with the Caldors bag used to purchase panties for Joy to urinate and defecate in. Yeah, and if you haven't figured out, Sarita, I'm assuming is a black female. More brutality. The brutality we've talked about time and time again that the black mother puts on her daughters and destroys them and drives the father out of the home and alienates. While we're on Joy, let me explain how she was a very evil force. She convinced my mother that I was sexually active at 13, which I was not. I was a tomboy because my mother had convinced me that girls were trouble. I found a crew of 5 boys who I absolutely enjoyed having as childhood friends. So a boy on Joy's block I became friends. We would eat cold Chef Boyardee and play video games. I was afraid of boys, let alone sex. So one day, Joy and my mother decided they were going to terrorize me by bullying me throughout Joy's house. It's like a group event to beat your child. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unreal. And how you find so many women, okay, in the black community that goes along with this terrorizing and brutalization of children. But it just goes to show you how unhappy so many black women are and black mothers are. Because they bought this lie pushed on them by that white liberal feminist lie. Pushed on them by them. And who else? Let's not forget that preacher. That preacher who has a church every 50 feet in the black community. Okay? Preaching out of those institutionalized houses of failure. At what point do you look at these communities that never get better and say, hey, what's the common denominator? Oh, maybe it's these churches that have been here the entire time every 50 feet, where you know these preachers are doing nothing more than exploiting these women and taking their money and absolving them of a week's worth of sin just to go out and turn it all out again. Coupled with that white liberal telling these women, you don't need a man around, you could do it all on your own. The government can step in for that father. And this is what you have. Angry, sadistic, lonely, empty women running around brutalizing their own daughters. I'm going to check your vulva, said my narc mother. God knows I didn't know what that was, but I knew it was inside me. I fought back and was prepared to do whatever I had to do to protect my body. One way an abused child can go is fearless, and that is me. I'm a natural redhead, so Joy would always ask me, does the carpet match the drapes? Oh, I guess maybe you're not a black. Well, there's redheads in the black community as well. She had the audacity to come to my Uncle Corey's celebration of life event after passing a couple years ago to walk up to me from behind and slap my behind and say, hey, fat booty, and kiss me between my mouth and cheek. Needless to say, my mother taught people that it was okay to abuse me. I had one good ally in her friend, my Aunt Kim, who I absolutely adore. Needless to say, my mother is envious of her, but that is neither here nor there. I was abused with animals. I had one fat white cat named Good Boy who died mysteriously. It is actually good because it put him out of his misery. Good Boy was tied to a tree by his neck and then beaten by my mother, and I was made to watch. Her reason was that he got into a Thanksgiving turkey and needed to learn not to do that. There was the street cat me, my guy friends and neighbor, Ms. Sharon, mother of one guy friend found. We would take turns feeding and caring for Sandy the cat. One day the boys and I found Sandy in our basement. We lived in apartments with a litter of kittens. For some odd reason, she wouldn't take care of this cute gray kitten. I took it upon myself to take her home and raise her myself. I got a Visine bottle and emptied it. I filled it with milk to nurse her. I would tie my t-shirts in a knot in the back to Kangaroo Carry Cookie. I even took her to school for an entire day, which my teacher, Ms. Lockwood, didn't seem to mind. She was the light of my life. During this time, my mother would come home to complain about a coworker who was allegedly a bitch and jealous of my light-skinned, long-haired mother. Exactly, you are black. Okay, I knew that. This is just... And again, right there, and I brought this up before. What's important in the black community is your skin color. It's like a hierarchy. Same for Charlene with the Dominicans. It's a hierarchy, and everybody's jealous, and they never stop competing. Everything's a competition because your mother thinks through her vagina. She sees every girl, every woman in her life as competition, you included. That's why she viciously lashes out the way she does. One day, Cookie and I were in the living room hanging out when the doorbell rang. To my surprise, it was the bitch coworker. My mother had given Cookie to her without warning. My heart was absolutely shattered. I just healed that wound last year after about 25 years of carrying that around, thanks to a good therapist. A boyfriend of hers, Sean, bought me a sweet Lhasa Apso pup. My mother named him Khalif, which I hated. We had him for a few years, but when she decided to run Sean off, he was a good guy, she gave him the dog. I remember him saying, "I can't take Sarita's dog," which prompted her to drive to his house with me to drop off my little protective, cute dog. What a fucking cunt. Because again, that's her fucking vagina taking over and seeing this guy, Sean, having compassion towards you through the dog. Okay, as a knock on, well, he's choosing her vagina over mine, and fuck this dog, and you're gonna go, and I'm gonna fucking let you know. I'm gonna let you know who the fucking queen bee is. This is what the queen bee does to the daughter. It's not to say what they do to their sons. Emasculate them, turn them into son husbands. Turn them into women in men's bodies. More violent versions of themselves a lot of times. There were many more instances of pet child abuse. Brownie, a mutt I found in the street, disappeared. He would walk me to school, turn, run home, and be waiting outside of the school when I got out. I am certain that she hated that. Listen, even the dog, okay? Listen. Even the dogs are competition. Okay, your mother's vagina is jealous of animals on choosing you. Understand that. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for now, and we'll write again another time. Thank you, Ollie, for all that you and Charlene do for survivors of narcissistic abuse. I'm sending you both warm hugs on this chilly day and blessings of the highest magnitude. With love, Sarita. Sarita, you're another victim of being raised by that single black mother who thinks through their vagina, who wants to be the queen bee. It's another queen bee scenario. It's amazing how many stories I get of these beatings, these public beatings with female friends and female family members taking part in the abuse joyfully. You can thank that white liberal, and you can thank that preacher for all this, because they're the ones who let this run roughshod. They're the ones. It is so sad. It is so sad that the brutality being dealt on these children, both the girls and the boys, because these mothers were told you can do it without a man. You don't need him around. The government can be your man, or whoever can be your man. You can go out and free love and fuck and drugs and all that bullshit. This is what it produces. This is what it produces. Being terrorized 25 years late, for 25 years over having your cat given away. Nurturing something. She nurtured a cat. She gave that cat the nurturing she never had, only to have this fucking dirty slag give it away. Why? Because she got fucking vagina hurt. That's why. This is what happens when the queen bee gets vagina hurt. And I'm sorry for it. Thank you so much for your contribution and your story, Sarita. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you guys, all of this goes away, and YouTube and Google are trying to make that happen sooner than later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to follow me on the library app, which links are provided in the description box as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.